Okay, this is a video for the LEAR LHF AE1d Be Mark II. It's listed on my list as being maybe around $1,000. I got this for $250 brand new. But I also saw it listed for $1,000, so I thought maybe I was going to get a mail saying, we're sorry, but that link was incorrect. It has not been updated or something, but it did come in the mail, so I got kind of lucky. I'm going to put a video at the end of this video that's going to be an unbox pretty much, and you can get a closer look at it. It has a little screwdriver, and it's got a little dial. Monitor reference is what they call the flat, which it is flat. And then it's got like a double peak, one around 2 and then one around 8 with kind of a dip. It sounds really nice. And then it's got super bass, which actually it does. It's a Beryllium driver, and it does it really well. I'm super impressed. I don't know what price you're looking at, or even if it's available. So, but I'm going to do this video anyway because the one I did before was maybe not the BE version. Looking at it, it doesn't look like it. But I believe it only came with this and not with the box, so I'd have to go take a look. The music used is Tupac, Ambitions as a Rider, Robert Palmer, Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley, Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun, The Who, I Can See for Miles, and Van Halen and The Cradle Will Rock. And my first note at the top is bass style over switches, a la ASG 2.5. So right now a lot of what's going on is the switches where you can adjust the sound profile. But before, I don't know what other sets do it. The Arsonics ASG had a little dial that you could use a screwdriver like this comes with, and you could turn up the bass. And when you turn that, you can measure. So I did the graph with this, and I measured as I turned, and it's lifting the bass up, way up. It's not really, it's turning into kind of a V, but because Beryllium, there's a purpose for Beryllium to exist, you can raise the bass a little bit more and not get the mid penalty until later. If you did it with just a regular PET Mylar, you'd probably very quickly see diminished returns in the mids, like anything over 2.5 to 3 dB elevation at 60 hertz, and you'd start knowing that you were losing your mids because it's perception. This goes up, this seems like it goes down, even though it's not, but this is going up relative to one another. It's the same thing. With a Beryllium driver, that perceived loss of mids is delayed for a while, so you can get an enjoyable, fun listen and not really suffer like, there goes the mids, oh well. No, this is actually pretty dope. First track is, I'm going to go ahead and stick with where I'm at right now. One of the albums, of all Van Halen's original group albums, probably this would be the one that I was not the biggest fan of, but inside there's a track called And the Cradle Will Rock. And it's really dope. And the way that Eddie Van Halen plays the guitar, have you seen Junior's grades? It's a jam. It's a legit jam. It's busy. It's got a lot going on. This plays it really nice. I enjoyed it. This is a really fun listen. It's not OCD, I'm looking for micro details type set, like a Fearless S8F. This is not what that is. This is let me have fun and let me enjoy. Let me have different levels of fun. Let me have some fun. Let me have a lot of fun. Like, that's the whole point of this. So you get the Beryllium, you get to adjust how much of that you're going to enjoy or not with the dial. This track sounded dope in the halfway position. Sounded really nice. Everything seemed to come through, and in my mind I'm thinking this is a fun set. Don't go for micro details, but they were there anyway. There wasn't anything that seemed like it's gone, or cymbals are totally torqued, but whatever. It's a nice replay. Next one is The Who from the Sellout. That's a classic one too. That's a nice album, isn't it? Magic Bus on Tour. The Who Sellout. Kind of mocking everybody. I can see for miles and miles. I can see for miles. This, for reasons that I don't know, has a perceived huge replay sometimes. Like if you got stuff over ears, open backs, this can sound like you're at a stadium show. Even studio version of this track, it just sounds like a really big presentation. I can't quite explain why that is. I guess that's in the mastering stage. It sounds big. On this set, I get that feeling. I haven't A&B'd this with anything. I did listen to this track with the Sonys, and I got the same, like, wow, that's huge. This is not on that level. But that sense of this is a bigger thing. Like, this is a stadium group, and this is a song they would play in the stadium. I kind of feel like I'm there. Definitely came through with the Sonys, and I got that sense with these too. Not to the same level, but this wasn't like a total... You listen to the HD 800s and you can listen to something like jazz, which you know should be intimate and like clubbish, and it sounds like they're at Madison Square Garden in the boxing ring in an empty giant... Like, that's not the way jazz is supposed to be replayed to the brain, but that's what the HD 800s will do. This is playing the Who track with you get the sense that it's a big performance. You're not getting the whole thing, but you can feel it. So you're not really being limited that much. If I turn the bass down to reference, maybe that elevated treble would give me some more of that. But as it is, it sounds pretty good. And that's on the halfway adjustment. Next one is Soundgarden. I love me some Soundgarden. Rolling Stones. Lot of Eagles. Sorry. I was using, I believe, this one. Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun. This video was pretty dope when it came out. That when that girl's splashing the mayonnaise on her face. Oh, she's licking ice cream or something. It's very, 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 very obvious what they're trying to display there, like inappropriate stuff. The woman putting the makeup way exaggerated over her lips, little girl licking a white ice cream with white shit all around her lips. It was just really very inappropriate, very, 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 very bad. Soundgarden, that was very bad. But I love this track. I fucking love it. And that video was dope in a weird way, and this track is excellent. This is the kind of track that you listen to and you just start like air drumming or air guitaring. This set, the LEAR, will stimulate that, because I actually was doing air drums while I was listening to it. So this is a fun set. It would take a long time to try all of the positions of the dial to evaluate where it doesn't do good and where it excels. It depends on you and what you want to do. Soundgarden sounded really good in the same position that The Who did and Van Halen. I didn't adjust while I was going through this. I graphed what it looked like reasonable, not super, super bassy, and just went with that because the Beryllium should let me do elevated bass without penalizing me. And in fact, it seems like that's what it's doing. Next one is Robert Palmer, which is right here. Cool. I don't know if you guys know Robert Palmer. Robert Palmer is the blackest white dude ever. His voice is just... And that was said by somebody, I can't remember who it was. There's 3 tracks. Sailing Shoes, Hey Julia. I thought that's Hey Julia. Sneaking South through the Alley. There's really no... These are like gapless, truly gapless in the mix. It's like a trio of songs that put on your sailing shoes, and then it goes right into Hey Hey Julia, dun dun, Hey Hey Julia, and then it goes right into Sneaking South through the Alley. There's no cut. It's just one blends into the other. It's like they did it live and thought, let's just put this on the album just like that. Sneaking South through the Alley is a jam, jam, jam. And it's got a really wicked bass line that gets more intense as it goes along until at the end of the song it's like do 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 do, and he's saying sneaking through the alley with Sally doodle 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 doodle, trying to talk double talk, get myself in trouble talk, catch myself in lies, catch myself in lies. Robert Palmer is the man, and this is a dope track, Sneaking South Through the Alley, and I enjoyed it a lot listening to this set right here. This is I'm going to have to do a comparison video with something else. It's difficult because this can be many different things. It can be slightly bright sounding, lean in the mids and bass because that's what the reference tune position is, or it can sound like a very good resolving V. We can do either of those things and then some stuff in between. So it's really hard to say it can't and it can do this. So this is actually quite a poor review, actually. Now that I listened to myself. Did I point out that that's the final audio, and I ordered that yesterday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it came to me today. I might have said this already. It came to me today like 5 o'clock. It's the beauty of Japan. That'll be coming up in a while. But that was no more banging on about that. Somebody got the at a good, and then this, we move along. This was kind of to make me happy and pull me into a good mood because I loved it before, and today I listened to it and thought, yeah, this is good stuff. How much is it worth? I'm not going to get into that in any videos because I can't say. Personally, my personal view, I got this for $250 and I feel like I got a steal because it's beryllium coated, because I can adjust the bass, because in its elevated slightly to extreme positions, it's quite an enjoyable listen. The cable is on par with yesterday's stuff. You know, it's I'd switch it out. It's MMCX. Let me go ahead and, if you can see that, it's got the dial and it's got the little dots to indicate. Those are like bass bubbles, I guess. Little teeny bass bubbles is reference tuning, and then the big bubble is, it's got a little hole right there. MMCX, left indicator. It's a nice set, man. I'm happy to have it. This will be one of those ones that everything usually goes out the door, but because I bought this, let it go once, maybe one of my first Patreon events, I decided to get it again. So I'll probably be holding on to this set. I'll put up some graphs probably in the next few days, and I'll also maybe do a comparison with this and something else in the future. This is, do I wreck it? If you can get it for a price that you think is acceptable for something that is slightly bright and its reference tuning and a good resolving V in its elevated bass, how much is that worth to you? That's pretty much the way it goes. This is not a big deal as far as presentation goes. It's all about the music, though, so we'll see how that works out. Robert Palmer. All his very best. Takes every kind. Do 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 do. Some like it hot, addicted to love. I didn't mean to turn you on. Simply irresistible. My sneak inside through the alley made it on here. And Hey Julie didn't. That's interesting. Oh well. He was dope, man. He had a long career too, because this was 70s, I think. Sneak inside through the alley. Not really sure. Does it say in the... No, it doesn't say. Not really sure. And I'm out. Okay, this is the unboxing part of the LEAR LHF AE1d Be Mark II. That's a semi-long name with a lot of, it's like a code. That's the launch codes. We're about to go to war. Flat neutral. Monitor reference, super bass. This is fake news because I've actually already unboxed it and graphed it. I didn't save the graph, so I'll do it again, but it does in fact not mess with the treble and makes the bass go to nuts levels. I love this version and the regular version. I just love the sound. So let me go ahead. Let's see on the side. It's a 10mm beryllium coated MMCX. Let's go ahead and take this thing off. The other LEAR on my channel was like 2.5, 3 years ago, I think. nothing looks to have changed, and I think this might have come out around the same time as that. And I've seen this listed at some places for $1,000. I picked this up for $250 and thought it was a gag, like maybe they made a mistake, but I got sent for $250. So if you can get this for $250, I wreck it. If it's more expensive, I don't know. But basically it's a Beryllium dynamic where I can up the bass. And the treble is, it's not like B-Lawn, and it's like a B-Lawn and a T4 in the sense that it's got an initial, it's a little bit precipitous, the first rise, then it drops back down. It's got a secondary peak around 8, and so it's a kind of a chop top. It looks like the same case that came. Okay. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. LEAR. It's got the screen door screen, which I like, not the stamped out metal. Just don't know, something I don't like about that. This is the adjustable switch. The bigger circles mean more bass. I can confirm that. Cable is not that much unlike what you might find on a $3,000 64 audio. Somebody can insert a gift of a person beating a dead horse right about now. Go ahead and take this out. That is to say, the cable is fine, and you can replace it if you want. What I want to see, and what you should want to see, is them not leaving you out to dry with that screwdriver. How much thought does it take to include a screwdriver? And there you go. There's your little screwdriver to adjust that little tuning thing. And you got tips. And more tips. I actually didn't open this box. I used another screwdriver that I had with something else. I don't know what that came with, but I've got my little tools. When you get a lot of stuff sent to you, you end up with stuff. There's the cap on it. So this is going to be, I've already got it up on my list, fairly high ranking. It's in the A tier because I love the sound. I'm a fan of Beryllium. You guys know that. If you don't, you do now. I like metallic coated plastic drivers. It's PET. It's the same as what's in a Coke bottle, which is a version of this right here, is what the typical dynamic driver is. Typical, I mean, and with a coating on it a lot. The big wow right now is that they're using like real beryllium or foil in the Dunu Luna, the Final Audio A8000, whereas this is a beryllium coated, which is like the FIO, which is like the other Dunus, which is like most of the everything that's not crazy expensive. But it does make the dynamic driver a little stiffer. It's really good for sub bass and low end, and because it's stiffer, it's got properties that make it a little faster. Not like quite like titanium, it seems to my ears listening to ultrasounds. It's a natural sound, but it makes it get back to the mids without, so you don't get the penalty like that dip. It might even measure that, but you don't seem to perceive it in that way. Hence me being a fan of it, because I want my bass, but I want my mids too. If we can negotiate that, that's what I want to do. And Beryllium makes that possibility when it's done correctly. And this one, I can decide how much bass I want. I can go from flat, as I've measured it, to a really nuts hump. And most of everything else from about 900 hertz to 1K forward doesn't really change much. It really is a bass dial. Nice truck going by. So I will do a review for this. This is coming up. This is hard to find or not. Again, it's listed on my list as $1,000, but I got this one for $250. If you want a link to that, I don't know if those people made a mistake or what, because I thought I thought my chick was going to get a mail saying, we're so sorry about that, but that listing has not been updated in quite a while, and that's not the accurate price. But it came in the mail, and it cost $250. And I'm totally cool with that. So, don't know why I'm putting it in the box, since I'm going to be listening to it, but just to make it seem like some kind of reasonable, normal video with bad lighting and poor narration. Just go ahead and go with that. And this shiny looked really cool. LEAR hybrid fit with like what looks like a trademark there. They don't have a trademark for hybrid fit. These do fit good though. I don't know what hybrid fit is, but I do know what BE is. Cool. I got this. I would have paid more for it just because this is one of those things that you keep. For me anyway. And I'll do a review for this. I might do the review tonight and pinch it on the end of this. I don't know. So that's it for this portion. I'm out. Shows live on stage with whole shell in my name. To be precise, ripping mics is the light of my life. You frontin' like you try for never pull the heist.